Hello, 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 and welcome back to an all-new episode here on the Desensitized channel. As always, my name is Darius Cook, joined as ever by the lovely Dan Cast. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good. I was sick yesterday, but I low-key feel a lot better today, so doing good now.
Yesterday he was sick. Now today he's sick.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll go
Yeah,
with
there we go. All
that.
right. Today we got a fun video planned. I want to shout out Malcolm Crawford on TikTok for inspiring this idea. But the general premise of this game is we're going to be building out our own Ben 10 omnitrix. And Ben 10, he can turn into 10 different aliens. Today, we're going to pick five different aliens, creatures, or races across all fiction, games, anime, movies, whatever you think of, to fill out our omnitrix. And we're going to be competing to see who can get a better roster. A few rules for this game is once you've picked one character from one franchise, that's the only one that you could pick from that franchise. For example, if I want my roster to be filled with Pikachu, a Pokemon, that's the only Pokemon I can use. Sound good?
Sounds good.
And for anyone who wants to play along at home, just like another guideline that we're kind of working with is we're not going for specific characters. We're going for a type of character, a species or a race that exists in a certain fictional universe. But yeah, without further ado, Cass, go ahead. Who do you have in your number one spot to fill out your multi-dimensional Omnitrix?
Yeah, so this was really hard, harder than I thought it would be. It actually took me a long time. Um, but the one I kind of landed on first was a pretty obvious one. It's like the ancient dragons from Elden Ring. I know
Mm,
dragons are going to be a very common thing, but them specifically, they're a little bit more intelligent. Well, I guess it doesn't matter; it'll be my intelligence, but like they can kind of wield lightning, and they all have their own special kind of abilities. But it's generally like they can do everything a standard dragon does, but they can also like throw lightning bolts and stuff at you. So like probably that'll be my one.
okay, yeah, dragons are definitely like a no-brainer on this list. I definitely had a few dragons lined up and ready to go if you didn't go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an idea of the scaling of this dragon. Like, what's the size of this dragon? Are we, like the biggest dragon in game in the House of Dragons? Is it that big on the high end or no?
No, 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 no. It's not like an absolute monstrosity. It's just what you picture like a standard like maybe like the size of like Danny's dragons. They weren't like
Okay.
insanely big,
Hmm.
but they're obviously big, like around that size. Some are a little bigger,
Okay.
but it doesn't need to be crazy.
Yeah, so average overall,
Yeah,
nothing
like
too
an
crazy.
average dragon
Okay.
size, which doesn't do a lot, but just when you
Yeah.
picture the size of a dragon, it's probably around that.
Yeah, if you didn't go for Dragon in your number one, I was gonna go for
Hmm.
either Game of Thrones or House of Dragon, or I was just thinking Dragon from Shrek, which has a lot of battle experience, has guarded castles, and is like the biggest dragon in the world. So that would have been a good pick, but I'm not gonna go for Dragon now that you got Dragon on your list. I want to distinguish my own, so I'm gonna move away from that.
Okay.
Going for my number one spot, I don't think you're going to see this one coming at all. I actually wasn't going to do him. I had him on my bench, but since you picked Dragon, I have space for a flying creature on my list. So for me, and my number one spot, I'm going to go with Appa himself, a flying bison from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay. That's
So that's going
a
to give me flight, it's going to give me size and power, and it's going to give me some airbending ability as well.
and cuteness.
And cuteness, you're right. There you go.
Okay, that's a good one. I didn't really think about that. Okay.
So if I was because we're only doing one from each universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I had Dragon as my flyer, I was going to go with the Badger Mole instead because it's canon that Earthbenders learn Earthbending from Badger Moles. So I was going to go from that for the universe instead. But I'm happy to have my Flying Bison on my team.
For sure. I'm gonna go another very simple common one, vampire, and that's I'm mainly thinking of the ones kind of from Castlevania, not the standard like, um,
Not the Twilight.
not the Twilight ones. The ones in
Missed
Castlevania I feel
opportunity.
like are a little bit cooler. They I didn't watch Twilight, so I'm not sure, but I feel like they have more powers.
Yeah, I think the Castlevania vampires are a little stronger than the ones in Twilight. You are sacrificing cuteness though. If you went with Twilight, you would have been a little bit more cute. So I'm gonna have to nix you for that. But fair enough.
Yeah, I'm going for like combat ability.
Yeah, I had Vampire on my list as well. I think it's a fun power set. Vampire ability you can change it to a bat as well. I think that's fun. Mix them up in there. So it's not a bad pick at all. I like that for you. You're
Hmm.
going for kind of a darker team, aren't you? A little you get the bad boys over there.
Yeah, well, my favorite like genre is like a dark fantasy, like medieval, you know. So that's where a lot of my ideas stem from,
Okay, you're like a Pokemon trainer, and you got your little theming around your team. I like that.
for sure.
Well, speaking of Pokemon, I had to include at least one Pokemon on my list. Well, only one. Uh, I was between two. I was thinking about going for Greninja. I like his power set. I like the water that he brings to the table. Adds a little bit of balance on my team. But overall, I'm going with style and I'm going with Lucario. He was my first favorite Pokemon. He's absolutely dripped out, and he comes with like meditation and serenity as part of his power set. And he gives me, he balances out my team in a cool way. So I'm going Lucario.
Okay. Um, might be a little familiar with. I'm not sure. Did you watch Lord of Rings? Lord of the Rings.
I
Sorry.
did. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was thinking of like a treant from Lord of the Rings, which are like the big trees that are rooted, and
Okay.
you know, um, either from Lord of the Rings or from Warcraft. But yeah, the treant seems like if you kind of know ahead of time like where things might take place, you can kind of plant yourself. You'd be indistinguishable from other trees, and then obviously you can pop out, walk around, and crush people, whatever. Um, Obviously weak to
Some
fire,
power
but
and some espionage. Not
yes,
bad at
yes,
all.
yes. That's what I'm
I
going
didn't
with.
expect you to go there. That's good. That's a good pull. I hadn't even considered anything from like Lord of the Rings. All right,
Yeah.
for my next one. So I wanted to pull something from the MCU. Okay. Now, I almost went with Groot, which I think would have been a good option. I am Groot. He's got a good power set, a lot like your tree guy right there. But I decided to go with a scroll. Are you familiar with scrolls in the MCU?
No.
They're more recent. That's okay. They're the green shapeshifters. They were introduced in Captain Marvel.
Mm.
So they're just shapeshifters. That's their only ability. I think there's maybe a little bit of enhanced strength, but nothing really beyond that. That would be my espionage pick. It allows me to turn into a lot of different things and go into disguise. So yeah, I went less with power and more with utility for the scrolls.
Okay. Okay. That's you're essentially a shapeshifter yourself with the omnitrix, but I guess you really spread yourself even more wide when you pick up that. Have you played Halo?
I sure have.
Hunters, the big guys. You have to hit them in their back. They have a cannon, shoots.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going that. It's a nice strength pick. It's not overly big. You might not be able to get through a standard doorway, but everything else I picked is pretty huge. So
Hmm.
probably gonna go with them.
Okay. Okay. You're going. So you're pulling from the video game space, and you're really sticking to your theme here. I like it.
Yeah, I don't watch too many TV shows. So I'm a big video game guy. So that's where everything I have is coming from, pretty much.
I'm feeling the pressure now because I have some really good ones on my list, and I just don't know exactly where I'm going to go here. But I think I'm going to dive right in with one. I don't think you touch this space at all, and there's a lot of options you could pick from the space. But I picked the Dementor from Harry Potter. He's going to be kind of like my ghost freak. I need a baddie on my team who can suck the life out of somebody. I think that you'd also have some utility. I'm pretty sure Dementors can pass through walls, and so there's some varied utility there. But if I really need to suck the soul out of somebody,
Pause.
pause. That's the guy who's going to get the job done. So I have the Dementor on my list.
Okay, so what are we at now? Four each?
I believe so.
Okay, so for my last one, I'm gonna go. It's kind of like an enhanced version of the fire elemental from Baldur's Gate, but it's called like a fire myrmidon. It's essentially like a fire elemental that's like a little bit more armored, has some stronger abilities, but it's one of the summons from Baldur's Gate 3. I think I'm gonna go with that.
I haven't seen this type of character yet, have I?
You wouldn't until we get to Act 3, which Lord knows when that'll happen.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, where me and Cass are slowly going through the Baldur's Gate franchise, but it's going at a snail's pace. So I've yet to see that. Have nothing to say on it. I'm sure he's cool and brooding or whatever.
It's what you'd expect when you say fire elemental. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's just like a looking human, like humanoid looking ball of flame that can obviously shoot fire, teleport in short distances, and like it's got a sword, some armor.
Okay, so this is your Heat Blast pick. Okay.
Essentially,
Sub
yes,
in.
yes.
Yeah. All right, not bad. I don't know about you. I'm feeling like going for six 'cause I'm having a tough time getting it down to five. So if you have six, I'm down to go there. But for now, in my fifth spot, ooh, I'm between two, so I really hope we go for six. But for five, I'm gonna go with a Transformer, an Autobot.
Oh, okay, I never even thought of that as like a potential race, but it
Yeah,
definitely
I,
is.
I I think that he would round out the team in such a good way. There's a lot of utility there. I can get my team in a car and take them where I need to go. There's Transformers that turn into planes, so you have a few different options there. Utility, machine guns, power, size. You really got it all with a Transformer. So yeah, I'm picking Transformer for the number five slot.
Damn. Um, I guess I have a number six. I didn't. I was struggling to find options. I wasn't really gonna go with this, but some sort of like fairy or something like that, just to get real small, be able to sneak into a lot of places, get some of that espionage going, be hard to hit as well. But yeah,
I think there's some
something
implied
akin.
magic with
Yeah,
fairies a
yeah,
lot of the
a
time as
little bit.
well.
It depends on what world you pull from. I don't know which one I would, but some of them have a
Tinkerbell.
little bit of magic. I don't know what Tinkerbell does, honestly.
There's a Tinkerbell franchise where there's whole sub races of fairies with varying abilities. So she's a
For
Tinker fairy. So
yeah, I don't know if I'll go with that one, but definitely, definitely something like that.
no, that's good. Your team was missing a cute factor, so
Yeah, there
I
you
think
go.
it's good that you scooped her up. I thought you were going to go for the minions, but I see you went
No,
for the
no,
fairy
no, no,
instead.
no minions.
All right. Well, I'm happy that you relinquished and let me get this six because it's definitely going to push me over the edge. I almost went with like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle to follow my heart, but I scrapped that. Okay. I went for a Venom symbiote from
Okay,
not the MCU because the MCU doesn't have Venom yet, from the Sony universe, which is distinct. Okay. So yeah, Venom symbiote. You know what Venom does. He's
yeah, yeah,
ferocious. He can take people over, and he's gonna kind of fill in my upgrade role from the Ben 10 Omnitrix.
yeah. Okay, okay. Would you would you be the symbiote itself, where you latch onto someone and you can control them and also enhance them, or would you like?
The
Are you
symbiote DNA is in the watch, and then it takes me over, but I have full control. Could I
okay?
take over someone? That's an interesting question. I'm gonna say no, but I
Okay.
think I could take over inorganic matter.
Okay. I was gonna say it might be a little bit cooler if you turn into the symbiote and you can take over someone's body and use them as a host, and they'll kind of take the brunt of the damage or whatever, and then you can hop between people. You know what I mean? Like, say you're
Yep,
fighting in a
that's what I
crowd.
meant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I like that better. That's what I meant. I'm the symbiote itself, and I can do
Exactly.
whatever I want.
Yeah, and
I
you
could
can
take over. I could take over anyone on your team, essentially.
animals, anything.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. Yeah, I'm taking that.
Yeah, okay. But would you be like, see, there's like the Venom symbiote. I know there's a couple more, but there's the Carnage one.
Yeah, I
Uh,
chose I chose not to specify. Whatever the base power set is for most
for
symbiotes
sure.
would just be the generic version of what I would have
I'm
here.
thinking more so in the realm of like what color.
Mm.
Carnage is like red, Venom's like black. I couldn't tell you the distinct differences between the two of them power wise, but I'm just saying, like, what color would your symbiote be?
Caramel macchiato brown.
Okay. All right.
A light skin. I would have a light skin
Light
symbiote.
skin
Actually,
symbiote.
yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
Sure. All
For
right.
sure. Hmm.
Um, pretty good list.
Yeah.
Um, I don't
We'll
know.
let the public decide who wins here, but
Yeah, I was gonna say.
let's recap our list really quick. I'll run through mine. I had Appa in my number one spot, Flying Bison. For my Pokemon, I had a Lucario. Like I said, I have a Transformer, Dementor from Harry Potter, Venom, or excuse me, a symbiote from the Venom universe, and a Scroll from the MCU. So that's my six right there.
Okay, mine is an ancient dragon from Elden Ring, a vampire from Castlevania, a treant from Lord of the Rings, a hunter from Halo, um, a fire elemental from Baldur's Gate, and a fairy from undisclosed
Okay.
franchise.
So your team is definitely coming a little heavier with the firepower, that's for
For
sure.
sure.
But I've got a little bit more varied utility, so I think it's a very decent matchup. We'll let the public decide. You know, we'll pull from TikTok and YouTube to see who comes out on top for this one.
For sure. Yeah, you definitely have more variety, I would say. So depending on the circumstances, how smart you are with it, definitely could own me.
Hmm. Some honorable mentions I wanted to shout out. They didn't quite make my list, but I think it's worth mentioning here. I really wanted to put a Wookiee from Star Wars. You know, like a Chewbacca character. He just doesn't come with enough utility. He would just be you know, pretty strong and tall, and so
Yeah.
I decided not to go there. And I really wanted to take a Navi from Avatar, but
Okay.
again, I couldn't quite justify the overall utility of it.
Yeah, they're both of them. Their main strength is just tall and a little bit stronger than a person would be.
I might
Um,
as well take LeBron James as one of my picks. You know.
yeah, I mean, if you're looking to rip people's arms off, Wookiee would be a good option. But I don't think compared to like the infinite possibilities, I don't think Wookiee or a Navi would really stand up to everything else.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle was one I wanted to put on my list because I think it'd be really fun to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. But per the standards of this game, I wasn't sure if they counted or not. You know, there are four turtles that got turned into mutants under certain circumstances. I wouldn't necessarily know if they're a race, like, unless they had children, I suppose. But
Yeah, and if you're going like mutant route, you might want to just be an X-Men mutant.
mm,
So,
mm,
those would be a little bit stronger, cooler.
hard to say what your ability is.
Yeah, you'd have to be like a very specific one, but that's like a slippery slope because then you'll go into
Yeah.
like uh, a whole bunch of other superpowers that just kind of one-off happened, but there's a lot of people that have it.
I considered even going the Doctor Who route. Are you familiar with the Daleks?
No.
Okay, then that good. The good thing I didn't go there. That's an airball, anyways. They have great abilities, especially living in a technological world. I think the dogs would be very effective, but it was a little too nerdy for my taste.
Word. Yeah. Yeah. We try not to be too nerdy in this game. This
Yeah, I
podcast.
wouldn't want to be too nerdy on this podcast. Yeah, that would be a crime, right?
For sure.
All right. Well, I think that's going to bring this one to a close. Let us know who won, and you know, who did we forget? Let us know who would fill out your Omnitrix. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of characters and types of races across fiction that we didn't include, like the minions. So, you
Yeah.
know, let us know what we missed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, yeah. All right. Have a great day, people. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. But that's been another Desensitized. Peace out.
Have a good one.